Life Stealer.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Tide Hunter.
Vengeful spirit.
Dire team pick.
The humble FY, man who doesn't necessarily enjoy being called F-God either. He is a good man indeed. We're going to drop you straight into the draft because it has already begun and we don't want you to miss too much more. There have been 3 picks already, so we'll get you in there right now. Lifestealer the first pick on DC side, Tidehunter and Venge for Vici, and a Doom now for DC. Apologies for the fact that we're straight into the draft. It's caught us out in terms of time, but we'll catch up and we'll get more thoughts from you, Black, because I'm really interested about the whole FY thing, and you know these guys really well, so we'll talk about that a little bit more in between the games, but we'll focus on the draft right now. Purge, no real surprises?
The Ricky surprise ban in first round is a bit weird, but DC has been doing really well with the hero in some of their last matches, and it's a bit of a challenge to play against.
Yeah, something that we've noted in the past is that Chinese teams hate dealing with things that they're unfamiliar with, things that throw them a little off. So rather than just try and figure out a way to deal with it, just ban it outright, sort of like the techies.
Although what confuses me a bit, he said Ricky is good with and against Lifestealer, and DC they probably planned to pick Lifestealer first. So why did they ban Ricky if it's really good with and against it? Were they like scared of the first pick Ricky, or?
Lifestealer's still good though. I mean, it doesn't have to be with the Ricky.
Yeah, of course it's still good, but it's really good against Lifestealer too, right? So I thought they might pick it themselves because FY has a history of running that hero.
It's possible. They did have second pick though, and DC went first, so they got the Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Venge Tide is still really good though. It protects against a lot of Chronosphere, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ravage obviously is great for early team fights and taking towers, so.
Although Doom and Lifestealer both, in a sense, counter Tidehunter. Tidehunter on the lane very strong against Lifestealer, and Doom, we have seen it yesterday when Fnatic played against. Who did they play against?
5 seconds remaining.
LGD?
LGD.
Was it LGD? Oh yeah, it was LGD. When LGD had the Doom and Fnatic had the Tide. Tide went 4-step blink, and it was just a positioning battle because he doesn't want to get doomed. Because if Tide gets doomed, they will just automatically lose the team fight.
How do you guys feel with this this AA ban? I would have thought that would have been a hero VG Gaming Reborn wanted.
Well, maybe it reveals something about what they will pick, what they want for themselves. Maybe an Alchemist, Enchantress, who knows.
Elk sounds pretty likely, actually. Yeah, it's good. Pretty good against Doom. If you get Doom, doesn't really matter. You just walk away most cases. Against Lifestealer, it can be hit or miss, but generally he has so much farm that it doesn't matter.
Especially if you run a Radiance build, you don't care about Doom at all. And VG really likes their Alchemist. No plays a really good Alchemist, and they ran it a lot in the past. Definitely very likely.
It does seem like Vici Reborn is looking at staying within their comfort zone with those first 2 picks, with the Tidehunter and the Venge.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy so far.
It can go so many different ways too. Covers them against some brood picks. Been so many brood picks the last couple days. The Tide opening just looks safe on all angles, no matter what happens.
I mean, so does the Venge. It's like good in all phases of the game. The aura is really good to push. You have a save for your carry or other core here that you need to save. And then go to the DK.
Is it time for Meepo?
Maybe it is, actually. Something that we've noted in the past is that DK enables so many heroes to go mid because the matchup is so kind of meh. Like, both heroes usually trade farm, if not just the DK outright losing.
And their one support right now is Avenge, just terrible against Meepo. It does not work well.
On the other hand though, Tidehunter is really strong against Meepo, but if Meepo gets out of control of the farm, which is very easy against the DK in my opinion, then a Ravage won't matter to you because you just tank it.
Witch Doctor picked there by DC.
Yep.
Gives them some lockdown that they've been missing. more single target damage is good too.
And a very strong save lane as well.
And Maledict, they can just get 1 point. It does like 16 of 40 of the damage that you get by skilling it. So you can just put 1 skill point. You have a solution against Tide there with right clicks.
There's no bounty ban either, by the way, here.
Yeah.
Sorry?
There's no bounty ban.
No bounty ban.
Oh, that's a good point.
But what I wanted to get back at is Witch Doctor. We've seen it yesterday. I expected Tide to do really well against that Lycan Witch Doctor lane. But what happened is the Witch Doctor just skilled 1 in Maledict, as you said, and he completely zoned out the Tide Hunter. He had like 3 CS minute 5, and the pick is always really, really good against Tide. But we do see the Bounty Hunter come out.
Dire team pick.
One of FY's favorites.
I think it was much more likely to be picked by Vici Gaming Reborn. I mean, harassing a Dragonite can work, but if you don't have the right mid hero, it's a bit iffy.
It counters the Doom. Not necessarily counters the Doom, but it's a lot of harassment if Doom decides to go into the jungle and
Remaining.
see creeps.
And if your team gets doomed, you track them, and then you just run
Run
away.
away?
5
Yeah.
seconds remaining.
What are we looking at, as you see? I'm still...
Reserve time.
What are they gonna pick for Wii?
I actually do
Are they
really
gonna
like
pick
the
Invoker?
Meepo. I really like the Meepo here. Invoker... They're not doing Jakiro.
They did that against the TA though, that other game.
Wait, the time when they did the Jakiro mid was against like a puck.
It
It
was
was,
against TA
It was
actually.
like a puck and a TA. They
Oh,
did
right.
it in the qualifiers as well. It's with matchups that the Jakiro can really bully.
I like it against Dragonite. It's actually very good against that because you have 2 spells that do magic damage, Dual Breath and Liquid Fire.
Yeah.
Every time he comes up for a last hit, you hit him with like. By level 4, you're hitting him with like 300, 350.
But the problem
magic
with that is then you're running a single core Nyx, and then Mu
Yeah.
has to be your delivery system.
Is this
Yeah,
not an
it's
Invoker
definitely
game?
Well, it's too late now. They pick DP, but it kind of is. But they don't really have good stun setups for the Sunstrike, which is really where you're getting at least like 30% of your value from Invoker and laning stage. So it's just a little bit iffy, and they need better team fight. I think early game against Tide DK.
I do love the DP though, we spoke about it yesterday. DP is really good against Bounty Hunter roaming in general, and DK on the lane is very bad against DP as well. So even if DP doesn't get help, Bounty shouldn't be able to bully middle too much.
If you notice, Vici Gaming also doesn't have enough burst to really shoot down DP really quickly. She's gonna get her Exorcism off, she's gonna get her Siphons, and then I think VG.R is gonna have a real tough time taking her down.
Yeah, it's 2 strength cores with lots of HP, which means Spirit Siphon gives her more health. And Silence is really good against all of the heroes on VG Gaming Reborn. It's actually a great DP game.
So far, VG really needs some burst. They have no burst hero at all. Like, what carry can they get?
Yeah, how
Go
did
for it.
how did they get through a Lifestealer, a Doom, a Death Prophet?
With Witch Doctor healing all of them as well?
Yeah, this is really hard.
Maybe Slardar kind of works, but it's a little all in.
It is
definitely.
it's very
This
all
is
in.
very all in.
Yeah.
Some teams make it work, man. Some other teams fail with it.
Dire team
I like the Juggernaut ban a lot. I think that's one of the heroes that might not necessarily fixes VG's problems, but goes a long way in, helping them towards that burst, towards that. It's great against Death Prophet, great against Lifestealer if you get off the Omni Slash before you get doomed, great against that, and Healing Ward counters the doom.
And it's one of it's one of End's favorite heroes as well. But I think they're gonna go back to the Gyrocopter this game. They really need AoE damage, and I don't think there's a better hero than Gyro right now, which is also one of End's favorite heroes. He played the hero so much in the qualifiers.
I agree. I think Gyro is probably the best, maybe one of the better solutions for something that's not going really well. Even if they do pick a Gyro, Lifestealer is great against it.
But this Lich Doom lane, whatever carry they're gonna pick now, he's gonna have such a hard time. Doom Lich is one of the strongest dual offlanes there is in the whole game. Doom will just go eat a jungle creep while Lich gets level 2, and then they have Nova as well as Scorched Earth, and if you get a Satyr creep, you have so much burst damage on level 2 alone. If they pick a Gyro, they're gonna have a really hard time.
This Lich is just starting to creep into the meta. It's been picked more and more.
Ooh, there it
For
is.
Morphling?
And it's 5-5.
New
That is the 93rd different hero of the Manila Major Morphling.
That was a good
for VG
idea.
Gaming. We kind of talked about that yesterday, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we said if Morphling comes out, it's going to be a Chinese team.
Yeah.
They're one of the regions that still really respect the hero occasionally. I think it's a great pick here though, because with the Lich, the Death Prophet's basically covered against physical damage. So if they go Morphling, they're very nuke heavy, and it's going to force a different problem that DPS to deal with. Yeah.
Okay, very quickly, we need your predictions because we kind of let you off the hook and let you have the first draft before going for series predictions. Charlie, which way is it going?
I would have picked the same thing either way. I'm gonna take DC here. I think the Morphling is gonna take a long time to get online, especially with the Lich sacrificing his creeps.
Okay, Black very quickly.
DC.
I was also going to pick DC. Morphling could get a lot of kills against the Lich, but I'm firm that I think DC will win the series.
Okay, 3 out of 3 on the panel. They believe in the North American hype, well, or the European hype, or the CIS region hype. Whatever it is, they believe in DC. It's 3 out of 3. As we head over to our commentary team for Game 1. Odie Pixel, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and indeed we're ready to go with the first series of the day here at the Manila Major, VG.R versus the side of DC. I'm Odie Pixel, joined by Ben. Ben, quick thoughts about the draft?
I actually favor VG.R.
Okay, well, let's see what happens with this one as we get ourselves straight into the action of Game 1. So indeed, here we have it. Ben, well, talk to me about that. What is it you're liking? Are you liking the fact that they're bringing in the Morphling? Are you liking the fact that we're seeing FY on his signature Bounty Hunter? What's kind of doing it for you in terms of VGR's draft this game?
More so the FY Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
I think it's generally just first ban when they face other teams for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, the hero itself, it's one of those heroes that's kind of come to this point where there are a lot of teams that kind of favor the Ricky pick over the Bounty. I mean, this time around, in this kind of lineup, if you look at VG, obviously they felt that they had to ban out the Ricky to stop DC from getting it. But do you feel overall they are more comfortable having a Bounty in this lineup compared to a Ricky? Or would they prefer to get the Ricky?
I don't really think it matters too much for them. I don't think DC would have scooped it up earlier than VG.R. I am worried for VG Reborn in the fact that they gave Doom to Moo. I think this is one of DC's key heroes, even more so than the Lifestealer.
And we're going to see here by the Bounty Runes, and indeed FY got away with that, managing to snipe the Bounty Rune away from DC. No, of course, getting the bottom, so and that's a bit of a start here for Vici, as they take both away from DC.
Catch that?
Oh man, that must be, I want to say no. I think that's literally looks like a pixel outside of it. Or is it in? No, it's in. Oh,
I can't tell.
We'll have to see when someone walks up there. That is incredibly close. We'll see if they are able to get the T. What if, well, obviously waiting to see when FY rotates around to that bit of the map to get that high ground vision. Lane-wise, so the matchups, I mean, let's talk about the hero that we are really kind of, well, yet to see here at the Major. Morphling down on the bottom lane. He's going to have just deal with misery at the moment on the Lich. I mean, Enz should have a pretty good time farming down here, surely.
Until the Doom comes in the lane, and he did get a Satyr creep at his large camp, so that's going to be very problematic for Morph, who's already pretty slow in the early game, and his growth will be further stunted with constant sacrifices. So Morphling's just a little bit too slow, I think, for most of the teams, and probably why this is the first time that he's been picked.
And an interesting play, of course, as well here from the side of VG.R in terms of their lanes. They've brought the Tide back already into the jungle. It's just FY at the moment on the top lane, soaking up some of the experience. I mean, is there a reason why Yang, to start this game off, just gives up the off lane entirely?
We did talk about the level 1 Maledict that could have been skilled on Saksa. He hasn't put any skill points in there, but I think more so is the Bounty Hunter can't do that much versus the Death Prophet. If they go on the Death Prophet, she can just double Spirit Siphon, or even just single Spirit Siphon and have a good time in the lane. So Death Prophet almost immune to the Bounty Hunter ganks.
And interesting to note as well, I mean, if you look at the two carries, there's a huge difference with regards to the CS resolution at the moment, 11 for 1, whereas End just 6 for 1 on the Morphling, so certainly having a slower start here on the bottom lane. And I think, as you said, now down to the fact that Moo's come into lane on the Doom, and it is this Doom-Lich combination, which, I mean, together, that is scary for the Morphling. He's got to be careful when it comes to trying to get the farm from there.
Right, but you can't discount the fact that VG.R have a jungler, so he can compensate for Morphling's lack of CS. But almost out of regen already on the Morphling. It's just a nightmare. That's every carry's nightmare, facing a Lich +1.
The Doom Lich lane, it's certainly been a lane as well that kind of a few months back was just the real kind of scary matchup in terms of pubs, and now we're seeing it, of course, again, just in these pro games. VG.R, as you said, having the Tide in the jungle, they're certainly finding a lot across the map. It's just going to be the fact that this Lifesteal is having a good start, and it feels like we've seen a fair few games here in the Major where a Lifesteal has been given a lot of space at the beginning and then just turns into a bit of an unstoppable brute. I mean, if the Lifestealer does get a good chance and a good start this game as it's looking to be for Resolution, what are VG.R's kind of options and potential in terms of beating him down in the mid-game if he is strong?
kiting him. We saw Weaver as a solution a couple of times. Morphling's also very difficult to kill. When you're low HP, he doesn't hit that hard with Feast. He also has 2 natural escape abilities that Lifestealer cannot cope with.
Here, wait for him forward, looking for Misery. They're going to look, Misery. They're going to look for the first blood, and they're going to get it. There we have it. Can they get themselves a second? It looks like move far too tanky, but nonetheless, nice rotation from FY, catching them off as well. The DC may have expected to still see him hanging around the top lane, but the movements and the rotations coming through. Now it's going to free up the off lane for Tide to start getting a bit of XP, but a really nice play here from VG, getting that Morphling the first blood.
And more importantly, they did deward that pool camp, which is especially important versus the Lich, but also important if you want the Vengeful Spirit to be able to set up for kills on the lane. So that was very nice by them. They did expend 3 sentry wards already.
And we can see, that's what we're looking elsewhere on the map. In the mid lane, No, falling behind a little bit in CS compared to VG.R. But I mean, is this to an extent expected in a Death Prophet versus DK matchup?
You would think that we might be a little bit more fearful because there's a top lane.
On top lane, we're kind of seeing one of the reasons why Yang was a little bit wary of coming into the lane, getting hugely beat down here. Will be fine, only just going down to 20 HP. And he will be able to walk that one off, but yeah, as you said at the start, the reason why he was avoiding the lane, and even at this point with the few levels, it's still a very, very scary lane to walk into.
Yeah, level 2 Maledict on the Witch Doctor, so he should probably just take it easy and get some experience and stack up neutrals, I think would be a good move for him.
FY wander into the mid lane, but of course with the sentry down, we have a huge Spirit Siphon just forcing back the bounty. But across the board, really, at this stage of the game, I mean, yes, VG.R may have got first blood, but we can certainly see that, you know, all 3 lanes considered, the farm is certainly going the way of Digital Chaos here in the early 5 minutes.
I wonder if it's going to get to the point that Morphling can split push. DC's main tool to defend against that is the Doombringer, but he's going to need a Blink or a Shadow Blade if they want Infest Bombs. No great vehicle, no good Blink carriers aside from the Doombringer, no roaming Riki or Bounty to surprise the Morphling. So even if Morphling doesn't have that great of a time in lane, he can still split push DC while they still do have a very strong 4-on-5 with the Tide Hunter.
And really at this point, a lot of eyes onto kind of FY's movements. He's still hanging around this mid lane, but obviously knowing the sentry is there. Maybe trying to play for a bit of a courier snipe, but unfortunately the courier's already passed back. Not going to be able to get that for the time being. We'll lay down the ward, maybe to set up for future attempts on sniping the courier away from VG.R. On top lane, still Yang. It's returned up here. Level 5 at the moment.
They're making a move on mid very soon, it looks like. Vengeful Spirit set up in position, and DK is level 6. Here they go.
Here we have it. Dragon Tail to lead in. FY with the wraparound, and with the magic missiles done, it should be enough. VG.R's trying his best with the Spirit Siphon. Is he going to work? And another rotation there from FY, going to ensure the second kill on the board for VG.R. We saw him earlier with the action down bottom, making things happen mid. And this is exactly what VG need, especially in a laning stage where DC are finding the favorable farm.
And that Observer Ward set up by FY before just made sure that there were no supports hanging around them. They did a very good job of getting DP really low before she could cast her Spirit Siphon. And under the guise of nighttime, made things a lot easier.
And DC certainly putting a bit more backup into the mid lane now. Both Saxa and Misery coming in to just back up for the time being. FY is going to continue to move around the map, heading towards bottom, realizing that the backup was towards mid, so Mu has to be careful with his positioning here. And he will be. He's going to be lucky that the creep wave's pushing in anyway, so Mu should be fine.
Oh, it looks like they're about to smoke. They just smoked under the Observer Ward.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Tidehunter pinged out both of them.
Already, as you said, just two major objectives happening for the side of VG.R, spotting out the fact that no backup was there for we earlier, and as you said, yeah, reading the smoke. So FY with some very nice warding, helping out the side. And indeed, it would be unlikely DC find anything with this one unless VG.R make a bit of a mess up. But as we can see already, just hanging back behind the town. I mean, Mu's going incredibly aggressive. Smoke or not, VG.R going to know something's up. Just going to throw in the magic missile. Trying to make a bit of a go here, but they do need to be careful. They're coming in, but look at the ravage from Yang. Catching out 3 of VG.R with a turnaround. Beating down onto Mu. Can they finish this man off here? Running away with the Scorch. He's going to get the salve off as well. Mu looking to be fine for the time being with a great escape here. Backup coming through as well from VG.R if necessary. But DC, they don't find anything. A really nice reaction from the Tidehunter. But at the same time, VG.R unable to punish DC for that movement. And DC moves, he's ready to come back in. My goodness, forcing the whole of VG.R back down this lane. But no casualties here in this engagement. FY's just going to come back in. Try and get the vision back up. Eyes on to Mu. Going to make a little bit of a go. And still around with him. You can see DK also making his way down here. Wee's going to get the full-on push with the Exorcism going, and waveforming himself away. They do need backup, and they will have it coming in. The Doom's being laid down. He's already morphing into straight. Vici going to be enough to save him. The Brief 5 coming out to move. Throws out the Samurai Blast. They'll take down the Doom. Misery still trying to chase down the Morphling to finish him off. Weeha being beat down on the sidelines by Yang. No, but the Spirit Siphon keeping Weeha alive, and falling low. He's going to live. He's going to live. They've lost Doom. DC Weeha will take down the DK, but FY looking to finish it off. He'll find it. Makes it a 3 for 2 there for VG.R.
And Doom did not have Scorched Earth up for that second time, but he is incredibly tanky. One of Doom's natural enemies is not having a lot of armor, but that's compensated for by the early Frost Armor on the Lich, and was able to survive that initial burst. And good value out of the Death Prophet ultimate. However, they did not get the T1, which is kind of what they were hoping for that entire time. And Bounty Hunter got solo XP on that Death Prophet.
FY, I mean, yeah, he's going to be very happy with the way that engagement did end indeed. Very close to hitting onto the 6. Has the urn picked up as well. And it's got to hurt for DC the fact as well that he came so close to bringing down End on the Morphling there, and he just managed to live through that duration of the Doom. Very, very close indeed. Weeha picked himself up a bit of action in that fight, but of course going down at the end. Not going to be too happy with that, but we can see overall DC still looking in a very healthy place in terms of the net worth, and of course they have had this constant farming from Resolution on the Lifestealers. He still sits straight at top, and the Tower Gold certainly going to help as well. FY eyes onto Moo. Saxon, they know he's there, and they're going to pop out the dust. Eyes onto FY. Misery closing in as well. No escape for the bounty this time. Digital Chaos punishing FY's positioning.
All he wanted was level 6.
Oh, he did.
It's like one creep away.
Oh my goodness, he is as well. 574 out of 600. They'll have it next time.
Lifestealer is incredibly farmed.
This has got to be an issue. You know, we were seeing this timing 10 minutes in. You've already hit your phase boots, your armlet. Resolution. I mean, I guess the one thing that's gonna work for VG.R is the sense, as you said, in terms of DC's draft, they don't necessarily have the best vessel for Resolution to jump in and start getting kills.
They can force Vici Reborn to come to them when they push towers because of the Exorcism. I think DC need to do a lot of damage though in the mid game before Morphling gets too strong, gets that Lincoln's up so Doom is not an issue.
Wee hanging around mid, he has the Invis rune. He wants to be careful about revealing himself as VG.R. They do have 4 down here. A nice sentry will spot Weeha if he comes right back round, but he's playing safe at the moment. May have even seen it come out of the inventory if he was checking and dropped it down.
And I think another smoke, it might have been scouted out by the Observer Ward yet again. Bounty Hunter was pinging in that area.
Yeah, look, we can see VG.R just moving straight away from the mid lane. Only no there at the moment, but he himself just hiding behind the tree line. We'll see how aggressive DC want to go in terms of getting this DK kill. 2 of them wrapping around behind the tower at the moment. Saxon Resolution, they're ready to go straight forward. In they go with the open wounds. No, he'll pop the Elder Dragon Pump. Can he actually have any hope of turning this around? Oh, the death or the Maledict on him. He'll get ripped to shreds. No, taken down. DC with the Exorcism. They begin to push this tower. VG.R have 3 about, but it looks like they won't want to walk into this one, and we'll just have to let Digital Chaos get away with that kill, and with a tier 1 as well. And DC, they don't look to want to stop anytime soon, heading towards the tier 2. We'll see how heavily they want to commit.
I think VG Reborn just guessed wrong. I think they wanted to kind of assault them as they ran up that hill near the bottom rune, especially with an Observer Ward that they had, but instead DC wrapped it around from the left side around the Radiant Ancients, and VG Reborn, they turned as fast as they could to help the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, and really nice as well. We can see FY, he's hanging around the mid lane. He keeps looking for the courier, but the courier control of DC's been really nice each and every time, just heading it straight back through their own jungle and across the top tree line, just to ensure that it doesn't get sniped. They're going to see Moo initiating with a Doom here onto End. Hasn't really got much backup. Misery is there. Can they actually allow the Lich to get in range with Yang hanging around? Looks like they won't be able to, and the Doom damage will not be enough to kill off End. So an unsuccessful Doom there for Moo. At the least just slowing down the farm of End, but the fact that he doesn't go down, VG.R will be fine with that.
So how are they going to start getting track kills? FY's been level 6 for some time now, but they're really hurting in the gold department. 5,500 gold lead for DC. Morphling still trying to recover from the early effects of the Lich in his laning phase. And not too many ancient stacks. DK can take that out once he hits level 11. Morphling, he can take it out pretty slowly, but Tidehunter, no mech, no blink in sight for him.
Yeah, but continue to just, be looking at Resolution, 6.5k coming up. He's getting bigger and bigger, working towards that Echo Saber on top of the Phase Armlet. As you said, they've still got the hope in the sense that they're morphling, pretty elusive for the lifestealer to deal with, and can certainly play around him. But it's a big difference in net worth to have it just 13 minutes in. It's very, very scary indeed looking at this lifestealer.
Yeah, things are already looking pretty grim for VG Reborn. So much damage just from the Death Prophet alone with her recently completed Veil. They're not going to have BKBs for some time to come, and they're smoking up. It's very difficult to get the jump, though, with Yang not having a Blink Dagger.
I mean, this is the kind of movement they need to make. They do have eyes onto Resolution. A full 5-man bit of movement here coming out from VG.R, but Resolution is playing it safe, and DC actually smoking up themselves again. I believe it was just under that ward range that FY has controlling this mid lane. The Resolution playing it nicely. It pretty much averts the attention from the gank, and will keep himself right back behind the tower. And maybe he might come through and reveal himself again to look for a bit of a bait, because you do have DC looking for the heavy wraparound. Resolution remaining in the trees, but he is ready to fight if DC get a good initiation from the backside. FY is going to spot out and dispel the smoke on Sack, so they know that DC are coming in hard. How are they going to react to this one? VG.R move, Multi into the middle of it all. They'll pop out the chain frost. Ravage comes out. They need to take out Weehar, and they will. But at the same time, DDC's lost his life. Death Ball from Sack to the Doom onto No. They'll take down the DK as well here, DC. And waveforming himself into the tree line. Should be able to escape. But DC, with the wraparound there, finding two. They do lose Weehar for it, but they stop the push of VG.R, and now they'll be able to get on a bit of a push themselves.
Great anticipation by FY, thinking that DC might wrap around there. They were pretty prepared. They dropped the Observer Ward at the start, but their sentry wasn't quite close enough to detect FY. We not expecting that they had vision on him. He did have a haste rune and could have skirted it around had he known.
Oh, look at this as well. They've got to be careful here with FY. FY actually knows. He's trying to lead in onto Misery. They found him on his own, and Misery getting gushed. Taken down by Yang. DC's hanging around after taking the tier 2 away from the top. Tracks down to Resolution. Let's see if VG.R can chase down any of these boys. Saxa on the retreat as well. You have the 4 members of VG.R looking desperately, trying to chase down DC, but DC, they're out mid lane. And being gone on by Weehar. Will waveform himself away. Blink Dagger now picked up from Mu as well, so they've got to be really aware of this Doom initiation. And thanks to the tier 2 being taken down, the fact that Resolution lives through it all, he's still sat there top of the board. 8.1k value. That's 5k lead overall, but really just the kicker being that DC has so much on their course.
Yep. As you said, too much on their course. Morphling, he needs a Lincoln Sphere to deal with the Blink Doom Infest initiation, or else he can't split push. We need an armlet coming out from Dragon Knight. Any sort of track kills coming out for VG.R, but I think just that one on the Lich, maybe one on the Death Prophet early on, and that will put DC firmly in the lead.
Nice bit of play there going for the Roshan. I mean, VG.R weren't looking to contest it at all. I guess obviously DC just realizing they had that timing still where there was 30 seconds without the Ravage. So a really strong timing for them to go for that Aegis. Yang at the moment cleaning up a nice Ancient stack. I mean, if DC could do anything to stop this, take some of these away, that's going to be nice to D-Jang. Trying for the TP at the cast. Oh, it won't quite connect. So the TP will be successful. Mech now done on Yang. Still some of the Ancients remaining. In fact, top lane, No. Now he's going to go for the TP out. Do they have the damage to take him? No as well. TP's being the aim of the game here for VG.R, saving 2 lives, literally by the skin of their teeth. And DC will be able to finish off some of these bigger Ancients, so Yang's going to be a bit annoyed with that one. More money into the pocket of Weehar. At least he does have that mech done. Ravage is back online if VG.R want to try and take the fight, as DC all over their half of the jungle and side of the map at the moment, and looking to get a bit of pressure onto this tier 2 in the mid lane.
They don't have ghosts on the Death Prophet. VG.R were able to see that he still had the ghost up when they went to the mid lane. But without a Blink Dagger on Titan, he opted for the mech instead. There's no surprise coming out for VG Reborn in their team fights. It's not like they can blow up a Death Prophet unless they can somehow get on top of her, but now that she has the Aegis, that method is unavailable to them. How are they supposed to pop the Lifestealer before he gets his rage off? Even with a swap, what are they going to swap into? Maybe swap DK stun?
Yeah, so I guess at the moment, without any kind of Blink initiation, as you said, all about these swaps if they can get it. And they are kind of setting up towards the side of the mid lane. With this ward as well, they do have eyes onto DC. Looking to move away, a little bit scared of Weeha. He's going to have Exorcism back up in 15 seconds.
I think Moo's going to set up for a kill onto the Morphling right now.
Absolutely. Well, looks to be the case. TP straight down, Moo. He's going to reveal himself in lane, but are they aware that the lifestealer's in him? And are we going to see them trying to go for a bit of aggression? He can't quite land the Doom down onto End. He'll just drop it onto Yang instead. Going to allow Resolution to look for the chase down. At the same time, trying to be down an End. Will manage to cancel the TP and End. Low on mana here, could be in trouble. Misery coming through, throwing down the Chain Frost. At the same time, Resolution continues to chase down Yang. We'll watch the kill onto End and see if they're able to finish it off. They will. And thanks to the split screen, we'll be able to watch Resolution chasing down Yang. Kraken Shell, bring it off to slow, but it doesn't matter. Beat down from Rezo. The Echo Saber hit comes through. Taxa with the Death Ward. He's got the vision as well as he popped the dust, and it looks like DC may be able to find a third. They will, with the Maledict popping, finding themselves a third kill there. VG.R being broken apart by DC. DC losing nothing, and they'll be ready to push. They still have the Exorcism available for Wii.
VG Reborn so desperate to get any sort of farm, knowing that Doom was over there with a Blink Dagger, but just trying to eke out that little bit of extra gold. Morphling was at like 2050, so close to that ultimate orb.
Oh, certainly got to be painful here for the side of VG.R and DC. Looks like there's no stopping them for the time being. They're in a very good place to push. Aegis and Exorcism at the ready. Let's see what we can do to stop this one. That will be what FY is saying here to the boys. But already this is a very strong push. Tier 3 now down to half health. VG.R just wondering for, they do have a Ravage. Swap as well if they can look to set something off. But as you said, ideally initiating onto the Death Prophet, but he's still got that Aegis.
They have to get the swap on Resolution.
He's coming quite close as well. DDC's eyeing him up. DC just playing it smart, playing it safe. And looks like they'll be happy with that one, doing a significant amount of damage to the tier 3, backing off, feeling that they're in no kind of pressure at all at this position. They can just back off, look to farm out the lanes, push out elsewhere across the map, and still just maintain this control that they have over VG.R.
Morphling can't get past the river, and VG.R couldn't even control the Ancients once DC were doing Roche, so they can't farm anywhere safely at this point, and still struggling to even get their first item. Only the armlet completed on Dragon Knight. Morphling still progressing towards that Lincoln Sphere, but on the side of DC, just way too many items for Vici to cope with.
I mean, just look at this, coming out. That was the completed SMY by looks of it for Resolution. I mean, this lifesteal, 203, 158 CS, 11,500 net worth. I mean, he is so far ahead of, like, just in comparatively to End's Morphling, to the extent that it looks like it's kind of like an Alchemist game. You'd only expect it 20 minutes in, someone like an Out to be a clear 4K ahead of the opponent's core. It's an incredible rate that this man's farming, and just the fact that VG.R, they've not been able to do anything about him. We saw them try to make that one play where they sent 5 heroes top, didn't end up going well. And Resolution, I mean, he feels confident to just run at them at this stage. He really has no reason to be scared at all. FY is going to come around here with a bit of a wraparound. We'll see if they can punish him. But, I mean, yeah, Resolution. You're only killing this man if you send 5 of them up. And even at that, it's going to be a bit of an ordeal.
Tower is under attack.
DC with the Exorcism back very shortly, I'd imagine. They're going to get ready to push again. Yeah, 10 seconds, and Wee's going to have that. They won't need it for the tier 2. They will have it up if they want to move on to the tier 3.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Looks like bottom lane.
His bottom tower has fallen.
No, we'll get away with taking down the tower. Picks up a Blink Dagger. The Resolution's in there, making sure that he continues to farm.
So finally their first tool that they can maybe catch out an important hero like the Lifestealer. Right now Resolution's just running rampant around the map, knowing that he can rage and simply run away from any situation that's thrown at him. Until the Dragon Tail, the Blink Dragon Tail, which I think is much better than the Blink Ravage.
Oh, definitely a great way for the side of VG.R to set something up if they find themselves in a position to do so. I mean, at the moment, DC just taking over the jungle of VG Reborn, allowing Resolution to keep this aggressive push on the bottom lane. FY just checking out the back lines, getting some tracks out, making sure that the intel is there for the side. If DC do then try and go for a play, maybe giving the chance for VG.R to make sure they get that key initiation onto the heroes that are necessary.
In a large-scale team fight, I think DC takes this very easily.
Yeah.
If they get the mech up on Lich, that should heal most of the burst damage coming out from the Ravage. They don't have too much follow-up for the Ravage and no BKBs to deal with the Spirit Siphon or the Chain Frost. And on top of that, they have just a lot of stuff that wouldn't even matter.
And here we have it.
BKBs.
Ready to go with the push. Tier 3 down. VG.R with the Exorcism up. Let's see if DC can get away with taking away this bottom set of racks away from Vici Gaming. Courier will be sniped out here by FY. But nonetheless, he's got to do something about this. The push coming in, Dragon Tail leading the edge, Ravage follow-up, catching out 3. They need to take that resolution, but moves there with the backup, drops the Doom out to Nono, the cast, the Death Ward as well from Saxa, forcing them back. DC, take 2, eyes onto DDC as well as VG.R just moving right towards their backlines, keeping Vici Gaming away from holding on to their racks, as DC will take the full set from them on the bottom lane. 2 kills as well, 30 seconds away from both the Dragon Knight and the Tide. No buyback available in DC. They're just going to move straight towards the mid lane. And at this point, Ben, what do Vici Gaming do about this?
They have severe damage issues. They try to chain stun resolution down, but barely got him to 40%. The Frost Armor doing a lot of work there.
Oh, nice on to end as well. Look at this Cypher just ripping through the Morphling. FY checks out the Shuriken. It's not enough to stop them though, as DC will claim the mid melee racks as well. TP in from the DK. We'll see if he's able to get a blink. Catch out. In fact, VG.R just turning around with the yours to make sure he can't get off that blink Dragon Tail. Nonetheless, N jumping in, waveforming forward. The silence coming out to 2. They've got eyes onto Saxa, but moves there to back him up. The cars bouncing between Yang and Nono. Now the Chain Frost over to DDC. DDC getting chased down by Moo. Nono being focused by the rest of DC. They'll take down the DK. They're trying to turn this VG.R, but they're crumbling. They're crumbling hard. Yang silenced up, taken down by Resolution. Double kill on the Lifestealer. Now they've got eyes onto FY as well. He will be able to get himself out here with the Invis. They did kill off the Lich, but again, another favorable trade for DC. At this point, it really is looking like DC's game to take. They'll finish off the mid racks. Almost certainly getting ready to look towards the top as well, with 2 heroes off the map on VG.R. 2 of their cores as well. And this game, I mean, what happened to Vici here, Ben?
I think they just gave DC everything that they wanted. I thought they were going to go more aggro with the Bounty Hunter, get a lot of track kills, but with the Morphling last pick, they were kind of pigeonholed into just, hey, let's wait until Morphling gets too big. And also, I think it was a...
Nice blink instantly away from the swap. And now DDC's waltzed in, but the silence is there. Yang trying to frontline here for the silence. Oh, VG.R will get blown up. A big kill for VG.R. Can they find themselves anything more here? Eyes onto Saxa. Resolution trying to get himself out on the silence with a raised TP. He'll escape. Saxa won't. So VG.R do find 2, but they're only holding on now to that half a racks on the top lane. That's all that stands between themselves and being mega creep. They're still looking to chase down Moo, but they know that it's going to be hard to catch Nono himself. He can't really take this man down without any kind of backup, and the backup too far away. So Vici, they do hold, but it only by a tiny bit, Ben.
Overall, I think VG.R's safe lane was much too weak to deal with the Doombringer, and it was a 3-on-4 engagement on the bottom, one of the first crucial engagements, and Doom didn't die, and they were able to still take the tower and continue to press on after Doom had used the salve. And at that point, like, Morphling can't farm anywhere. He's not particularly good at jungling. He does have the Quelling Blade, but that doesn't make up for his inherent early game weakness.
And needs to be careful. Well, just chuck out the Adaptive Strike onto Moon, making sure he can't get that Blink Doom off. I get the deny. Nonetheless, these VG.R are able to take some kind of extra bit of control of the map by taking a tower, but they need everything they get at this point, VG.R. And I mean, if they can get a team fight where, you know, we guess we see FY getting everyone tracked up, and then they get a wipe, maybe then there'll be some kind of cash influx to help switch this. But yeah, that really is the problem. As we can see, of course, Misery's just been laying down the Frost Armor onto everyone. All 3 cores incredibly tanky on the side of DC, and they've got so much sustain and so much backup, as the panel talked about with these pushes, with the Voodoo Restoration from Saxon. He himself on the Witch Doctor has been having an excellent game. I mean,
their front line is way too strong.
Yeah.
Death Prophet has died a couple of times, but only because she's been poorly positioned. With the Lifesteal on the front line, the Doom with the BKB, there should be almost no way that they can catch Wii safely.
And this is all or nothing here for Vici Gaming. They need something huge. Resolution, raging straight up, forcing them back. They do have, of course, with the E-Blade onto end, maybe they can blow up one of the heroes on DC, but it's going to be hard, to say the least. DC Just heading up towards the top. I haven't got a creep wave up here.
They can wait for bottom lane to push in. Might be maybe 30 seconds or so that they have to wait.
VG.R trying to wrap around from the side here, under the cover of the smoke. But we can see DC at this point just playing incredibly careful, not wanting to throw away this huge advantage they have at this stage of the game. We do have a track out onto Resolution, but Resolution, he doesn't care. Eyes onto DDC. DDC kind of AFK in it, but that was a bit of a bait, just forces away. He's cool. Slides to the side and he'll be safe. Digital Chaos very much ready to come in on this one. We're just waiting for the creep wave, and now this could be it. The push from DC to look to end Game 1, take the first victory in this best of 3. Resolution just raging, going to look to take away the final racks from Vici Gaming. What can they do about it? Exorcism's out as well, so it's going to be a hard fight for them. On the sideline. Oh, he's already found Yang, so there's going to be no ravage for this. They're trying to down Weeha, but the sustain, the heals is too much. GG, well played is called as Digital Chaos take Game 1 against Vici Gaming. Reborn, Ben, but they were never really alive to start with in this game.
Yeah, no chance versus the onslaught from DC. Oh, it's crazy. They just transitioned so smoothly from the early game until the mid-game team fight because of the Lich. There was no threat to the Death Prophet the entire game, and I don't really feel like DC ever feared they were going to lose that game at all.
Absolutely not. I mean, yeah, this Lifestealer, yeah, Resolution had the easiest game of his